Hi YouTube, I am So Sassy Andrea. This is my first YouTube video. I'm very excited. I decided to do a review on a show that I absolutely love, which is the Game of Thrones. I just figured, I said, you know what, if you're gonna do YouTube and it's gonna be your first YouTube video, you might as well do it on something that you love. And I love movies, I love really good shows. Some of my friends was like, are you gonna do some stuff on the reality TV stuff? I'm still debating about it. I do watch it occasionally, but I'm not addicted to those shows. I just feel like, you know, watching a bunch of women going back and forth and regressing back to high school behavior is not something that I'm like really interested in talking about. I love, however, good direction, good script writing. I love good acting, and to me the Game of Thrones is the show. I haven't seen a good show like this, a well written, well acted show like this since Dynasty, and I was a real little itty bitty little girl watching Dynasty, and I was able to follow along the characters and the complex storylines that came with that, and I absolutely loved it. But let me go ahead and get started into this. We're at season 7, and I just can't believe it's gonna be almost over with, but I've been with the show since season 1, and I just have to give my hats off to David Benioff. I hope I'm saying that correctly, and DB Weiss. You guys are taking the J.R.R. Martin, you're taking his storyline to such another level. I personally haven't read the books, but my mom has, and she even likes the direction that the story, how the story is being told on TV versus a little bit from the book. But let's get started. I want to actually point out a couple of, to me, which I feel like are standout performances. Gwendolyn Christie, who plays Brienne, and the John Bradley West guy, he plays the Samuel Tarly, and Rory McCain, I think I'm saying that right. If I'm not, McCain, I hope I'm saying it correctly, but he plays the Hound. Now, I was told by my mom that the Brienne character and I think the Hound character in the storyline in the book, they don't make it. And I'm glad that the writers kept these characters, because I just feel like the performances from the actors are just phenomenal. Sometimes you don't have to always have, like, you know, the lead actors are usually the ones that carry the show, but you also have your actors that are like, okay, you know, they're not going to get nominated for an Emmy or for a Golden Globe, but they're really helping the storyline along the way. So that's what I really like about it. I think that the Samuel Tarly character is like what I consider your surprise character. He's gonna be kind of like the unconventional hero, and I think that the actor that's playing him is doing a phenomenal job. What else I wanted to talk about? I wanted to talk about Sophie Turner. She plays Sansa Stark. I think that she is really doing a wonderful job in that role, for the simple fact that when you first see Sansa, when she was little, when she was younger, it was Joffrey this, Joffrey that, Joffrey. I want to be a princess, I want to be a queen, I want to have little princess and princess. And now I feel like she has, for her to be such a young actress, she has grown really in her acting. And I feel like I'm watching almost like a Vivian Leigh performance of how Vivian Leigh took that character Scarlett O'Hara. Like, I feel like Sansa is like Scarlett O'Hara. Like, she had her moment, her little naive moment, and now she's like an empowered woman now, and she's taking charge and taking lead. And I really like the direction that Sophie Turner is taking the character. I think she's doing a phenomenal job. I'm trying to think who else I want to point out. Alfie Allen, the guy that plays Theon Greyjoy. I think he is doing a superb job in showing how somebody who has severe postpartum, he's really conveying the emotions, and he's really, in my opinion, he's doing a really great job. Like I said, these are characters that you typically wouldn't think that would be the main characters of the storyline to follow, but I think they're really doing something with these characters that's really, in my opinion, bringing the game of life, the Game of Thrones to life. And I love Lord Varys. I think the actor that's playing him, Conleth Hill, I think what I like about him was it was in one of the scenes where him and Daenerys had finally made it home, and they were in the battle room, you know, discussing strategy, and Daenerys was like, well, you know, you served my father, and then you traded up on him, and you served another king, and how do I know if you're going to do the same with me? And what I liked about Varys, his response was, it was either my head or it was either serving the new king. And by the way, you know, the new king didn't want to be the new king, but he was 10 times better than your father. And I like the fact that he was bold enough to tell her that to her face. And even though, you know, she was like, well, I'm gonna burn you alive, I don't think that'll be the case with him. I think Varys is very intelligent and smart, like Littlefinger, and those characters are very crafty, and they know how to get in and out of a situation. So I don't think it'll ever come to that, but I think he's doing a really good job also portraying the character. The other person that I really like, and I really think she's, even though she doesn't have that much time on screen, Diana Rigg, talk about like old Hollywood a little bit, you know, and it's like nice and refreshing to have somebody like an old school actress coming into a role that's not pretty much, it's not a big role, but I think it's a significant impact on just seeing her talking with Daenerys when they had that moment when they was discussing, you know, strategy, and Daenerys had her moment where she's like, well, you know, Cersei's going to pay for what she's done to your family, don't worry about that. And here you have somebody that's lived through not only Daenerys's father's reign, I believe Daenerys's father's reign. So, you know, Lady Tyrell, she has seen it all, and she knows how Cersei thinks and how Cersei can be really, I would say, diabolical in her actions or her reactions. And you know, Lady Tyrell was like, look, you're a dragon, be a dragon. It was like that moment where, you know, the Wizard of Oz, when Dorothy was telling the lion, you know, be a lion, you know, your lion has courage, a lion is strong, you know, be a lion. And it was like, she was just like, hey, if you gotta go and burn down every damn house, every tree, and rebuild Westeros all over again, so be it. But in order for you to win this war, you don't realize what you're up against. And like she said, what are you gonna do, ask nicely for the throne back? So I really like the way that Diana Rigg is playing this role, and I know she got nominated for a guest star on a show, and I think she's been nominated twice for the Emmy. I think they need to give it to her. I think she's really doing a really great job, and I think she deserves the Emmy. And another person I think deserves the Emmy, they've been putting her in the supporting actress. I think she should be more of a lead actress nomination, but I can kind of maybe see why they probably are putting her in the supporting actress category. But I want to make sure I'm getting her name right. Oh, bear with me. I think it's Lene, yeah, Lene Headey. I really feel like she has really been given, in my opinion, some people may disagree with me, she's been given like an Oscar worthy performance. This is a character that this character was written in the book for you to hate. You're not supposed to like her, but she's playing the character in such a way that, okay, you feel for her as a mother, you feel for her as somebody that want to hold on to power, because she knows that, okay, look, I put in 17 years as a queen to a king that she knew he did not love her. He loved another woman. She lost all 3 of her kids. I feel like, you know what? She has a right to fight to stay on the throne. I feel like she has every right to say, hey, you know what? I'm not just going to give this up. And I just feel like her performances in my opinion, has been getting better and better. She has not played Cersei in a one-dimensional manner. It's like she's been taking us through several different levels of emotion, and I think that even just her delivery of her lines, it's just, I just feel like it's time for her to win an Emmy. I think she's very deserving of it. We already know about Peter Dinklage. He's been like nominated each year since the show has been on HBO, and I think he's won 2 Emmys so far. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve another Emmy, but I just feel like, you know, there's other people on the show that are really showing some really good performances, and I feel like, you know, they should get acknowledged for their efforts and their time that they're putting into the character. I personally, and I know he's not in this season, but I just had to do another honorable mention since I mentioned Diana Rigg, another actor that's distinguished, that's been around for a long time, and I thought he just really did a really good job playing Jonathan Pryce, playing basically the High Sparrow. Me and my mother just got a kick out of every time he graced the screen. It was just like, you know, it was like, okay, once again we got somebody that know his craft really well. He knows how to not only say certain lines, but just the look, his eyes. It's just you could just tell just between him and the character Cersei, that back and forth lingo. I was just like, oh wow, you know, he was a character that I was hoping that was going to transition into the 7th season, but as we all know, being fans of the show, that pretty much anybody can lose their head or get blown up or what have you, or get poisoned. So I just want to say hats off to him. He did a phenomenal job. I want to say another, I'm trying to think who else I want to, I loved what you guys did with how Danny came home, and I know after the episode you all were saying, you know, you didn't want to have too many words. We just wanted to have her and the emotion of her coming home, because from season 1, that's all, you know, the fans have been hearing is, I want to go home, I want to go home, I want to reclaim my family's birthright, you know, the crown, and I want to, you know, and that's all we've been hearing for the last 6 seasons. And to see that in the very first episode with it being the ending, it was like the simplicity of it. I think that was very very smart on you guys' part, because I really felt that that emotion there. So I thought that was excellent. I loved the opening scene with the first episode where you had Lord Frey, and I just thought now the character, now I don't know the actor that plays Lord Frey. I don't know his name, but I am going to look it up next time I do another video follow-up review. But I remember seeing him in the Harry Potter film. So, you know, he was running around with the cat. And it's like, okay, you see a little bit of a person's talent, but you don't really get to see it displayed. And I thought that, once again, another character that's not a primary main character, yet he took a role and you've seen him in other movies. And it's like, okay, you really got to see him in another light as far as his acting. I thought he did a pretty good job. I'm trying to think, what else do I want to mention? Like I said, this is my first YouTube video. I'm a little nervous. I know people comment. I'm gonna leave it open for people to comment, give some of their feedback. I definitely just felt like, you know, if you're gonna do the YouTube thing or start doing the YouTube thing, you know, talk about something that you really like. I'm also into healthy eating and healthy living, and just a lot of positive thinking and positive things. So that's what I'm gonna try to bring to my channel. I just want to bring positivity. You know, we're living in a world where, you know, there's a lot of opinions about you know, the political state of the country, and it's a lot of you know, things going on in the world. And, you know, to me, this is a form of escapism. You know, I don't want to be one of those, and to each his own, however you want to do your channel. I don't want to be one of those where, you know, you want to talk about the bad things all the time and you want to talk about the negatives. I'd rather just put out good energy, good vibes. Let's talk about movies. Let's talk about really good shows. Let's talk about, you know, strategies as far as thinking and living a better and healthy life. So I'm hoping that's something that I can bring to my channel and just see how it grows. I'm trying to think anything else I want to say about the Game of Thrones. I really don't, because I know some people probably haven't seen it. I highly encourage you to start from season 1 and all the way up into 6. Get caught up so you can know what's going on with season 7. I really don't want to say too much details about what was going on with the first episode or the second episode, because I don't think it's fair to HBO or to people that haven't seen the episode yet. But I just wanted to kind of touch on some little bits. This is something that I've always felt, and I just feel like, really, I want the actors and the writers to know that the show is really appreciated by me and by my mom and those that I know that watch it. And secondly, I just wanted to push, you know, Lene Headey. I want her to win an Emmy. I really believe that she deserves it, and I know that, you know, people get online and they start up fan pages, so they start up you know, they start up little campaigns for certain shows or certain people. And I wanted to just say that I believe that she should get an Emmy for her performance, as well as Diana Rigg. I think she should get a guest star Emmy. And also, I believe that the show deserves an Emmy for just best dramatic show. I know you guys have been nominated quite a few times, and I feel like what the Emmys are gonna do, they're gonna do just like the Academy Awards with the Lord of the Rings. They waited until the Lord of the Rings was officially completed and that third movie. And me personally, I preferred the first and the second installments to the third installment, which was the Return of the King. I just personally liked the first and the second one a little bit better, but I knew that they were probably thinking like, okay, we're looking at it as a whole. So now that the story has come to its completion, okay, now we're gonna go ahead and award you guys, you know, the best movie of the year. So I think Game of Thrones, fingers crossed, I think that's what's gonna happen with you all. I think that probably, if it's not this season, I really want Lene Headey to actually win her Emmy this season, this upcoming Emmys. And I think your last, unfortunately, the last season is gonna probably get you guys the best dramatic series. You're gonna get the Emmy. And I think that the David Benioff and the D.B. Weiss, I think for writing, I know it's other writers and I don't want to discredit them, but I think you all are like the two head writers that I mostly hear about. I think you guys deserve Emmys as well. And if you happen to come across my blog, I hope you do. I definitely, you know, I know YouTube do commercials in between people's videos. Definitely, if you guys, HBO wants to put advertisement of Game of Thrones on my YouTube, I'm fine with that. And oh, another thing, I wanted to point out Grey Worm and Missandei's love scene. It's been a while since we've had a really good Game of Thrones like love scene, and I really liked how the two actors had conveyed that, because it's like when you're getting intimate with somebody and then there's like maybe there's a disfiguring or there's a defect or something that may make the other person feel a little uncomfortable with getting intimate with somebody that they really care about or have strong feelings with. I thought the two actors conveyed that really well, where it was like, regardless if, you know, you don't have your man parts, I'm still going to work with you. That to me is true love. And I thought that the way that the characters portrayed that intimacy, I thought they did a really good job with that. And I'm trying to think, oh, and I want to do another honorable mention, and it's actually for the Drogon and Rhaegal and Viserion, the three little dragons. Well, they're not little anymore. I think, you know, hey, some type of animation award or something, because I think the dragon, the black and red one, he just got so much personality. And I have, like I said, I'm gonna make another video about my theories on what I think is going to happen going forward. I have some really good theories, and I have to make a second video to follow up with it. But seeing that scene that opened, the second opening scene for the first episode with the White Walkers, and I was just like, oh my god, they really have grown in size. And then to see the giants, like they even got giants. And I said, you know what, I had a crazy idea. I said, you know, it'd be really terrible if they were to get their hands on one of those dragons. That would be like really freaky and crazy if that was to happen in the storyline, because now you got White Walker giants and now a White Walker dragon. That would just be just mind-blowing crazy. But other than that, I'm gonna basically, that's it. I just wanted to do a review, a quick review. More so, I wanted to just kind of to put it out there that I'm a fan. Secondly, acknowledge the actors that I had acknowledged, and introduce myself to the YouTube world. And that's it. Hopefully you guys liked the video.